ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य मआणीस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in my speech. O self-effulgent Lord, be revealed in my consciousness. May the truths of the scriptures come to me. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us concentrate on our true, unchanging self. Our innermost reality. Let us dissociate ourselves from all other temporal identities like identity with body, identity with mind, let us push those identities aside and let us feel that I am the everlasting, unchanging, ever blissful, ever perfect and free, divine. All names and forms rise upon me and dissolve in me. I am their unchanging nature. unchanging reality. I am one without second, as the true self. I see the same one ocean appearing as infinitely many rising and falling waves. I am in all of them, but not limited by any of them. I have no desire, for I am all that is. I am the amness of everyone, the consciousness pulsating in every being. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin today's discussion on this biography of God man Sri Ramakrishna, God appearing in human form, with our usual chant. तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्तु ते भूरिदा जनाः. In our last class, we were seeing that how Sri Ramakrishna was explaining to one of the disciples who was very much interested in the study of Vedanta. His name then was Harinath. Later on he became Swami Turiyananda. And as we read that whole account of how Sri Ramakrishna explained to him the real understanding of non-duality, that it is a matter of grace. While you try your best, which you should, but ultimately it is manifestation of grace, because you do not remain there. The I is completely absorbed in the universal consciousness. It is now we see each of us is having some vibration of I as separate from the I of the other person. I here appears to be different from the I in front of me, like Vishwanath sitting there has a different I. But as we see that the source of this I and separate it from the changing gamut of body and mind, then that my I and your I, they become just one. There is no difference between them. There is no I, the killer, or the I that gets killed. They are no more separate. It is like if you put, say, a glass of water in a big reservoir. Now, the water in that glass that was separate before you poured it. Now, after you pour it, where is that separate water from that glass? It is not there anymore. That separateness vanishes. How it vanished? Because we saw it different from the glass. Earlier we were identifying it with glass, that this water, as if it has a separate entityship than the water in general. Now take out that identification with receptacle. Then you see that it is not, there is no separate this water and that water. In Upanishads you see many such examples given in Chandogya Upanishad to illustrate this point. An example is given that bees collect the honey from all different flowers. Before they collect and store it, and in their hive, it is honey of this flower, honey of that flower. They are different. But when it is all pooled in that honeycomb, now their separate identity was lost, is now gone. Earlier also they didn't have any separate identity as honey. Only because of the receptacle, that honey of this flower, it appeared different. So, this non-dual awareness is like that, and it is matter of experience. So, I, by my efforts, will realize it. It is not possible because it is destruction of this separate ego. And it is therefore very difficult to intellectually fathom this whole thought process. It is very important that we perform all the spiritual practice with utmost zeal, putting all our whole heart, whole soul in it. Let us pray like that with whole heart and soul. But then that does not bring the God realization in general. What happens is that this I gets lost. There is a beautiful verse in Kathopanishad describing this beautiful idea, this process, that who gets this God realization, that it doesn't come through intellect. Na medhaya na bahudha shrutena. That this Atman cannot be realized by lot of reading, lot of analysis, that lot of intellect. Some people may say, well, I am very intelligent. My IQ is very high, topmost in amongst all that I know. But that does not mean that you will realize God by that. So, it is, you don't get it by just intellect, na bahuna shrutena, by studying lot of books, you don't get it. Then how do you get it? Well, yameva esha vrinute tena labhyah. That whosoever intensely desires it, because of that desire, that self as it were showers the grace on that being. It is a very mystic process, cannot be described by words. That it is in a way akin to I want it, so I keep on seeking it. I keep on seeking like a child keeps on crying for something. And then the child doesn't have, of course, the power to get it, to snatch it. But then the mother sees that, oh, poor child is crying and crying and crying, really wants it, so gives it. Now, how the child got it? Just think of it. It is the mother graciously gave that thing to the child. But had the child not been crying and then making the life of mother terribly miserable, the mother wouldn't have yielded or given. So, child's crying was like prayers. I want it, I want it, I want it. Cry. My predecessor Swami Sarvagatananda used to say, and that is how the children were told by God to cry. That it is, they saw that nobody is paying attention to them, and they want to say something, nobody is paying heed. These all grown-up people just are busy with themselves. So these children, as it were, went to God. That God, look, these grown-ups, they don't pay any attention to us. They are busy, always talking about something we never understand. And when we want to say something, they just tell us to brush us aside. What is to be done? Then God said, okay, I will give you something. The power to cry. Now cry, bring the hell down there through your cries. Then they will pay attention to you. That is why we see little babies, when they see that nobody is paying attention to them, what do? Cry. So, that is how we should cry. Cry for God realization. So, our crying is our efforts, you see. But then that other person has to yield, you see. God has to yield. So, yameva esha vrinate tena labhyah. But there is a pun on these words here, that yameva esha, that this spiritual aspirant, as it were, wants it, so holds on to it, seeks it. That is, that sadhaka vrinate, that spiritual aspirant. The Sanskrit word can be, that used in two ways. Yam means to whom. Yam eva esha vrinate, esha sadhakah, yam brahman or yam atmanam vrinate. That esha sadhakah means this spiritual aspirant, vrinate, aspires for that God or the self. And thus one gets, or it can be interpreted as that this self chooses this person. This person does not choose self, cannot, but that self or God chooses that person as the worthy one. So, it is to be understood from both sides that we have to be worthy aspirants. But just by being aspirants does not mean that I will get it. The very nature of it, Naomi, is I will get eliminated. So, therefore, not that I will get it. It is not at all like, I do not have God realization right now, but after 20 years of spiritual practice, now I will get God realization. That is not how it happens. This I gets all illuminated, gone. There is no separate I at all. So therefore Sri Ramakrishna explained that it is matter of grace. Yameva esha vrinate tena labhyah. So that God grants to that person, you mean, so thus that person sees, sages again, these things are beyond words. So therefore whatever words are used, one can easily misunderstand those, and therefore sages again put an explanation. Not that person gets it as it were by grace. Tasyaisha atma vivrinate tanum swam. That to that being, this self as it were just opens itself up, and thus it goes away. It is like, if they just imagine you are standing in front of the mirror and you are seeing your face in the mirror. Now think, if that reflection of yours wants to know, who am I? Who am I? Now what will happen? That reflection is trying to see, who am I? So it will end up in merging in you that this is I. Then that separateness will vanish. That is how that revelation is, that nobody is able to describe. And the great sage Jnaneshwar gives the example that as if the two mirrors are kept uh, in front of each other. Not just one person standing in front of the mirror, but something more intense. That it is two mirrors are kept in front of each other, exactly alike mirrors. Now, who sees whom? It is something like that. Imagine, two exactly alike mirrors. Ek sarise, that is how he uses that words. That exactly alike, they are kept in front of each other. Now, when mirror say, you just for identification say, mirror A looks at mirror B. Is it looking at mirror B or mirror A? Reflected in mirror B, and these reflections will keep on alternating. It is impossible to describe who is looking at whom. That is how, it is. We are all divine, reflected in bodies, mirrors, mirrors of the bodies. When I am looking at somebody, somebody is looking at me. It is only the mirrors. The self is same in all. There is no difference at all. So this matter is to be really experienced. It is, and to show that, here another example is given. Example means an event from Master's life. Regarding, this is page 426, now that part we have seen, that it is 431 now. We cannot resist another event regarding the depth of Master's non-dual knowledge. At this time, the Master was in the Kashipur garden house, critically ill. When they heard of this, Pandit Shashadhar Tarkachudamani and a few others came to see the Master. In the course of conversation, the Pandit told him, "Sir, we have read in the scriptures that a great soul like yourself can cure his own physical illness by mere willpower. If you but concentrate your mind on the affected part of the body for a while, with the resolve that it be healed, you will be cured. Why don't you try it, sir?" It's a very, legitimate question, that you are suffering, you are yogi. Why do you not do it then? Suppose I am having fever. Imagine that if I am having fever, and if I have Tylenol with me, and Tommy comes to see me, "Swami, they say if you take Tylenol, the fever goes away. Why don't you take Tylenol? It is with you, I see you have it. Only you have to take it. Simple matter. Take it and your fever will be gone." It is very much alike, that suggestion is very much alike, that your sickness will go away if You concentrate with the resolve and that let it go. You have that power. You are that yogi. That Tylenol is with you. Everybody doesn't have. Tylenol is easy to get, but this yoga power is not for everybody to get. You don't find all and sundry having this yoga power in their pocket. It is very difficult to get. And they could see Sri Ramakrishna has this tremendous power. Only it is now to be applied. So they suggested, there wasn't anything, illegitimate about it. There is nothing wrong about it, except Sri Ramakrishna sees the fallacy in it. He said, the master replied, as a Pandit, that Shashadhar Tarkachudamani was a Pandit, means a big scholar, had studied lot of different scriptural works and had practiced also, was very brilliant. And Sri Ramakrishna used to respect him too. So, this Shashadhar Tarkachudamani, his name was Shashadhar, and because of his immense capabilities in discussing scriptures, in arguing different points of that, he was given this title Tarkachudamani. It is the crest jewel, the highest point where one can deliberate on scriptures. So Tarkachudamani. So Sri Ramakrishna used to respect him. So he is telling this. Now Sri Ramakrishna was a notch better than him in all these things. So he said, you are a scholar and don't you understand that? He says, as a Pandit, how can you make such a suggestion? This mind has been given up to God once and for all. How can I withdraw it from Him and make it dwell on this cage of flesh and bone? How can it happen? It is meaningless. If I tell Abhijit, you see, you are having $1,000. Why don't you exchange it for $1 with me? I'll give you $1. You give me $1,000. He will say, "What? Are you a fool? I exchange my $1,000 I have, and for $1, it's not going to happen." That Sri Ramakrishna says the mind is given to God. What is this body? It just comes and goes, a cage of flesh, blood, this and that. Can the mind be given to that anymore? Silly, impossible. And you being a scholar, you still are not ashamed to make such a terrible suggestion. If somebody makes that suggestion to Abhijit, imagine, how will his response be? What do you think? Do you think I was bit by an insane dog, a mad dog, that I am going to do such a silly thing? Give $1,000 for $1? No, it is impossible. It is, how are you making such a silly suggestion? Sri Ramakrishna said that, don't you understand? And the matter that Pandit understood, he left. Pandit Shashadhar Tarkachudamani was silenced. But Swami Vivekananda, at that time he was Narendranath, and other devotees did not remain quiet. They heard this conversation, and their tremendous love for Sri Ramakrishna made them tell this to Sri Ramakrishna, that why don't you try this? This is not for you. This is for us. This is for us. Like if I tell Abhijit, you take this $1, give your $1,000 to me, not for you, naturally you are not going to be benefited, but will I not get benefit of having $1,000? Please, for my sake, consider this proposition. It is so that I will get $1,000 in exchange. For me, you have to do this, you see. And that is how this suggestion is, that Swami Vivekananda kept on pestering, that it is, sir, you must cure yourself, at least for our sake. The master replied, do you think I am suffering like this because I want to? Of course I want to get better, but does that desire cure my disease? It all depends on the mother. There is no ego, it all depends on the mother. So if she cures, it is fine. If she doesn't cure, what am I to do? I don't want to get sick. But now if she is making me sick, what can I do? It is all depends on her. Do you think I have become sick because of my wish? No, I don't care. It is she who has put me in this. If she wants to cure, let her cure. See, absolutely egolessness life. Look at these things and try to fathom the depth of it. Each sentence here is so beautiful, and one can think about it. How Sri Ramakrishna is saying this. Forget these terrible cancer pains. These days, because of so many pain relieving medications, all that morphine pump, these, that, even with that cancer people can lead somewhat painless life. At that time, nothing of that sort is there. Think of the pain that Sri Ramakrishna is undergoing through. And what is our life? Suppose I have a little stomach pain. I get so bothered with it. All my prayers go to Lord. Oh Lord, let alone that Brahma Jnana, God realization, that can wait. But first cure my stomach pain, oh Lord. It is. Can you not do such a simple thing? Just take care of my stomach pain. You are all powerful. And I am asking just for a simple thing. Just remove my stomach pain. Why don't you do that? It is, and if the God doesn't do that, I lose all faith in God. So, Sri Ramakrishna was not like that. He could not ask for anything. There is no I there in the regular sense. In the sense like we have our I, he doesn't have it. So all depends on the Divine Mother, whatever she says. Then Vivekananda was not going to let the matter rest there. He says, then please pray to her for your recovery. She will definitely listen to you. The Master, it is easy for you to say that, but I could never utter such words. Swamiji, no sir, that won't do. You must tell the mother about it, at least for our sake. The Master, Now that Narendranath was Swami Vivekananda, you can't just brush him aside, He would keep on pestering, hey, you must do, and with that kind of forceful logic and all. So, and because Sri Ramakrishna used to love him so much, ultimately Sri Ramakrishna said, all right, let me see if I can ask her. And Narendranath was not letting the matter just rest like that and go for a pilgrimage somewhere. No, he again came and asked. After a few hours, Swamiji returned to the master and asked, Sir, did you ask the mother? What did she say? The master, I said to mother, I can't eat anything because of this pain, pointing to the throat where the cancer was most visible. So, please let me eat a little. Please let me eat a little. But she pointed out to all of you and said, you are eating through so many mouths. Are you not? Are you not eating through so many mouths already? Imagine, it is our eye is tied to this one heap of flesh and blood. I am this blood, this flesh, this bone, and so I eat this, and Naomi eats that, Harsha eats something else, all that different people. I am eating this. If Harsha says, Swami, you don't need to eat, I ate, it's all same, isn't it? I will say, no, what do you mean? No, it's not same. It is so, but mother points to Sri Ramakrishna, what do you mean you want to eat? Are you not eating through all these mouths? Sri Ramakrishna is eating, and then what can be said now? That what a wonderful example of Master's lack of body consciousness and how established he was in the knowledge of non-duality. For more than 6 months at that, this in another biography of Sri Ramakrishna, there is a little more description about this, that Sri Ramakrishna said, I felt so ashamed of again going to ask that to eat from another, this mouth only. Why do you want to eat by this mouth only? You can eat by so many mouths. Where is the problem? This is a great Vedantic truth. I had given one retreat and some other lectures also on this particular theme that appears in Chandogya Upanishad, that eating through all mouths. The enjoyer is same, the being is same. From all bodies, all the experiences that you get through all the bodies, they are going to the same one being. Like what you see, Tommy, by your right eye, you see it. Your left eye, you see it. Both eyes, the experience goes to the same one being. All different organs that you use, the experiencer is the same. Now we are identifying I with only these organs. Now think of it. When you lose this kind of terribly confining limitation, then you are seeing through all eyes. You are eating through all mouths. You are thinking through all brains. All that same one being. This is a very important principle in the study of Vedanta, that the being is same in all. Like we read the famous Purusha Suktam, that Purusha, this word is very meaningful word. Colloquially, it is distorted and understood as Purusha means male. It is not like that. Purusha, etymologically, it means Purishvayanat, means the body is like a city. The indweller of the body is called Purusha. Puri means a city. Like we have Jagannath Puri and so forth. Puri means a city. And the indweller of that city is Purusha. So this body is like a city. Who is dwelling in that? Who is dwelling in that? If you try to see that, you will quickly find out. Just even by simple reasoning, you will quickly find out. It is only because we are stupid, we do not carry even our reason that far. We think we are rational, but our rational feature is so limited that we reason just a little bit and then we are scared after that to take the reason forward. We revert back. If we reason enough, in a few steps we will see that the indweller in all bodies is identical, one and the same. That is why that great hymn says, Sahasra Shirsha Purushah Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishthad Dashangulam. So, Sahasra Shirsha, it has thousands, means innumerable, all the heads are that being's heads. It is all eyes are that being's eyes, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. It is all the legs, they are that being's legs. And we human beings have two legs. So, who walks on your left leg, Arundhati? You walk, isn't it? On your right leg, somebody else walks. You alone walk, isn't it? Now think of a spider. How many legs a spider has? No, a spider has 8 legs. Other insects have 6 legs, but spider has 8 legs. Now, with each leg, are they the different beings are walking? The same spider, same being is using all the 8 legs. So imagine now that one being who is using all the heads, walking through all legs, working through all hands. It is reality, it is truth. It is that the same one being is using all the different bodies that is manifested in all of them. That is the reality. It is when you see, for example, a movie, then you see that what is that person that you see in the movie. If you think that that's a very nice person, let me give that person a hug, and you walk there towards the screen to hug that person. You are not thinking of the screen, you want to hug that person. But what will you end up in hugging, Ritu? Screen. And if you think that that fellow is very bad, is about to commit a murder in the movie, let me hold hand of that person. Or before that fellow shoots, let me shoot that fellow. What will you shoot? You will make a hole in the screen. Is not the screen same in all the pictures? All hands that you see on the screen, below that they are the screen, same screen. All the people that you see there, same screen. You may see in the movie a terrible villain and also a very saintly person. Are they the screens made different for them? Same screen, no different there at all. And that is the reality. Those pictures are just appearances. That screen is the reality of each and every picture. Exactly the same thing. That self, the reality, is the same in all these pictures. These are all 3D pictures. 3D pictures. Today, this morning, I was talking to a girl. Very kindly, she had brought breakfast for me, and then I was talking to her. And she said, well, she works in IT business. IT. What do you do? IT means it is a whatever, everything has IT these days. But what particular thing you do? Then she took a deep breath, how to explain. Usually, she understood that Swami is not in that field, rather dumb also, so how to explain. So, it is. So she started telling, I am in 3D. What is 3D? Oh, yeah, three-dimensional. But what is it? We all are three-dimensional, not just you. What do you do? 3D? No, I make the design. I make the program for the three-dimensional printing of those things fitted in the mouth, the braces that are fitted in the mouth. I make that design for that, and the three-dimensional printing happens there, and then that gets fitted. So we are all 3D printed things, It is in and through all that runs the same reality. The soul, the self is the same, not different at all. Because we consider them to be different, we have all these problems. We lack happiness. We lack the knowledge of the truth, because we see I am different from that being. I am such a good person. I try always to be respectful to others. But look at how those people behave. They are terrible. Well, I am all that. Did I not behave sometimes in a terrible way? I too have done like that. It is the screen is same in all pictures. The reality is same. I is same in all. That is the experience of Sri Ramakrishna. Not just theoretical understanding. Imagine the depth of that non-duality. We can certainly give a long lecture about non-duality. Mm. And how it is different from duality and separate the natures of the non-dual experience and the dual experience. I can keep on talking about it. The question is how deep experience we have of this truth, that yes, I am that screen that runs through all these pictures which come and go. They keep on changing. You won't go to see a movie if the pictures are not changing. Will you go? What a boring thing will it be, isn't it, Naomi? If the pictures are remaining just like that, you won't go to see that. It is. In India, there was a politician, and then those days the Indian TV was governed. Now also some channels are governed by that government. So that person was always projected on the TV. Whatever, because that is what the idea was, to project the governor as a big person, does everything, all belongs to him, and so that it is. And so he was being projected all that. And a cartoonist therefore decided to make a parody and bring home the truth. That one person that was explaining to the visitor that on his TV he had just stuck the picture of this person, and told that the visitor, see, I have saved myself the trouble of putting the TV on and off. Oh, after all, when I put on, I see that same fellow. So it is, why put it on? So it is like that this body and that body, the changes. Why do we see? Because it changes. That is how we get interested in it. So, but the screen remains the same in all these changing pictures. If we forget this, all suffering. If we remember this, well, there is no suffering at all. That is why Sri Ramakrishna, in spite of this kind of pain, was never suffering. This is the important thing to note here, that the sages of the Upanishads say that a real knower of Brahman becomes omniscient and his thoughts come true. All beings and objects in the external world implicitly obey that person's wishes and change according to them. So it is no wonder that the body and mind of an illumined soul act in the same way. It is impossible for an ordinary person to test the validity of that statement in the Upanishads. But we can definitely see that every available opportunity we tested the master thoroughly as far as our limited abilities allowed. Each time the master passed the test effortlessly, and then with a smile would tell us playfully, still you doubt? Have firm faith and strong conviction. Who He who in the past was born as Rama and Krishna is now living in this very body, pointing to his own body. So, this is how this Sri Ramakrishna's awareness was. That is why the life of Sri Ramakrishna is so very unique. Mm. Today's time is over for further discussion, and next Tuesday, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, we shall continue these things, this reading and studying of these things. We shall meditate for 30 seconds, and then in case if you have a comment or a question, please come forward with it. Yes, please. Okay, since there is no question, now we can conclude with the closing prayers. This month of November is replete here with many novel, very different programs, various different lectures by different wonderful speakers. So, coming Sunday, there is a musical presentation on Mother Kali, the Divine Mother, and that will be done by Swapna and Rahul Rai, wonderful singers. They will be accompanied on tabla by Abhijit Adak, not this Abhijit that you see, another Abhijit, So Abhijit Adak will be accompanying them on tabla, and Swami Yogatmananda will give the commentary, the meaning of those songs. So you are all invited to come for this wonderful program. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.